Where am I hearing this? Do y'all hear that? I hear like a buzzing. Found it. Well, supposed to have an intro line when I start these lives, but I'm speechless because there's so many out there right now that are decided. Like, I'm all for this individual. They're looking for the kids, and this parent feels this way, and they're thinking this way, and that person's bad, and that's how. None of y'all know. You realize that. None of us know which parents, if either, can be trusted. We don't know what kind of shenanigans are going on behind the scenes. We don't know what RCMP is doing. So today's about a little bit of a reality check because I want to remind you of something. If this second cousin of Malaya is truly to be believed, then explain to me and a whole bunch of the rest of us why, if he is by theory saying that the mother has somehow had a group of girls in her family, in her native family, take action on her part, show up at the end of the driveway. She hands off Lilly and Jack. She goes back to the house, and boom, all of a sudden, the mother of Daniel is standing out there looking at her, and she just missed it by 30 seconds of the handoff of the kids. And all she knows is that Malaya looks startled. And in her mind, like she may know more or something to that effect. But keep in mind, we've only heard one side of the story. However, that's not our fault. We don't know the other side of the story because we do not have a mother that is advocating for the safe return of her children, which is mind-boggling. So there's a lot unclear on it all. But one thing I will tell you, CPS, we now know factually, had been to that home because somebody from the school made a report before the children went missing. Now, that's never good, and here's why. It puts suspicion that now when little ones go missing that are like 3, 4, 5, and 6, it's when they're becoming verbal that they can speak a lot. And this is something that Daniel as well as Malaya both validate, that these children are indeed very verbal and will talk to anybody and do talk to everybody. They talked about how much these kids talk. The mother said these kids would talk your ear off. The whole talking, and then the CPS coming, puts up, no matter what case it is, missing kids, CPS in the house before, Sebastian Roger feeling. Whereas we have CPS report and the kids are able to talk, they're now getting put into school. The school's now getting involved and able to trigger red alerts and investigations, and then the kids disappear. But in all of this, even though the mother gave one interview, the one thing she asked for adamantly was an Amber Alert that the children may have been picked up, right? So there's the logic right there. If everything that Daniel and Durwood, the cousin, second cousin of Malaya, and he's been validated as the second cousin of Malaya by the grandmother of the kids, right? Of Lilly and Jack. All right, here we go. If their implication, which you're going to find out that Daniel says he has someone on the inside in his text to that grandmother of the children, the biological mother, right, of the dad, Lord, grandma on the paternal side. Jeez. But what I'm getting at is, why on earth would she suggest for everybody to keep their eyes open and peeled and even want people at the borders, and get this Amber Alert and get all this attention if she herself is in cahoots with moving these kids out of the area or moving them at all? See, it broke because she wouldn't. No more than I can get the Idaho 4 people to simply acknowledge a simple fact. If the roommate that survived the quadruple homicide is actually the one that did the crime, and then they ask her if their suspect is the one that did it, she would say yes. But she didn't. So in a sense, it kind of makes you think, well, she probably didn't have much to do with it if she ain't fingering the guy they think that did it. There's logic you have to hold on to. We have to put a stake in the ground. Now, Daniel goes on to all kinds of messages, which I'll show you, where he consistently says he doesn't like to lie. He doesn't lie. He won't do that because that's the way the world is done today. Yet he lies. How do I know he lies? Because he said that blanket was not the kids's. But now he says it was. Because he said that they were both in bed together. And now we're finding out she came to bed and woke him up. You feel me? The story's changing. And is there some reason why a mother, would up and leave instantly and distance herself and put up a big wall between you and them? Why would the mother do that at all? She either thinks you're guilty or she might be guilty, right? She wants to make you look guilty or she's guilty. Something's wrong here. This whole thing has gotten convoluted, and I'm not going to just take this O'Grady or Darrin or whatever you want to call it, second cousin, at face value. I'm not going to do it. Mainly because I think he's very, very gullible and has been working with what Daniel wants him to know. Daniel talks about having someone on the inside. He said on Dolly Vision in his little text, yes, I know him. He stood by everything Darrin said. Darrin's repeating everything that was in the text that Daniel had sent before. It's too tightly woven. And the timing was so precise. Like O'Grady, we'll just call him O'Grady. He comes out. He does his little talk on this place. He makes his social rounds on that channel, this channel, right? Can't even keep up with him talking this story. But it's reiterating a lot of what Daniel had already said. But now it's got theory and conclusion attached to it, right? Okay. Then he name drops. And in one of his little chit chats, he talked about something about Malaya's stepbrother, but whatever. He name drops, and then allegedly Malaya takes off with the baby. CPS catches up with her, takes the baby away, and now Daniel's cousin, Logan, allegedly is trying to get custody of the baby. How slick is that? And what do you want to bet, regardless who's done what, that Malaya was being watched and targeted to get her to react, to leave with the baby so that they could get the baby in custody so that Daniel could see his kid? I'm just asking. Would it be right for her to leave alone with the baby? No, but what if she needed to talk to her lawyer right then? Even O'Grady is the one saying that he believed she went to the reservation to see her lawyer. I mean, again, it's her own fault that we don't have a way to be like, well, here's her side of the story, right? Not advocating for the child, leaving the day after the children go missing from the property. It's absolutely shocking. It's startling. It screams something's wrong here. Now Daniel's talking about 2 sweaters that are gone missing of his. How did he know to look for 2 sweaters? How would you know after you get back from the RCMP what was missing? With all the shit going on in your mind, you knew you had 2 sweaters missing. Let me tell you something. I've been through a divorce where we split that moment. And yeah, to this day, I still, 20 years later, I still can recall some things once in a while. I'm like, oh, I bet I left that behind. You just don't know. So to know you had 2 sweaters and report them right away, and then that's one thing. But then to go online and imply that you wouldn't be surprised, as if you're foreshadowing the investigation a little bit, right? To undermine that if they find them, you're already stating they could be planted with what? To bring you for what? Is there something you know more than we do that you know what I'm saying? If Malaya's family was caught in them woods with your sweaters to plant them, knowing that that area is probably being watched and now on camera, I highly doubt it. So I don't get that. But officially, Carrie George, thank you, sweetheart, for that super chat. A snippet chat. By the way, we are self-sponsoring here. And I invite you, if you are a Starlight, to join us over on Starlight World. We're doing some fun, fantastic things. You get free live, well, not free because you pay for it. You get live chat with your members, as well as we build different worlds or different. Just go check it out. I made a commercial. I don't know why I'm talking so much about it. We just love it. We want you there. The more, the merrier. I do want to take this minute to send my condolences out to Zaxxon, who lost his mother yesterday. And we here at 1111 truly love you and want the healing process to be as comforting and as easy as possible. We totally feel for your heart, and we're here for you. So just reach out if you need one of us. And you know my email. I love you. Back into Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Before we get into O'Grady and his little wild story, I want to go over. Well, let's start off with these beautiful faces right here. This is Lilly and Jack. Lilly is 6 years old. Jack Sullivan is 4. Their brother, sister. They went missing. Well, they were reported missing on May 2nd, last seen on May 1st. There's a lot of questions around the disappearance of these children from Novascotia, Lansdowne, Nova Scotia. And we have a lot of communication that's going all over the internet with the stepfather of them that was allegedly present when they went missing, as well as O'Grady, who's, well, his name is something else. I'm calling him O'Grady. He said his name was Derwood O'Grady, and that he couldn't give his real name, and then he did release his real name. So, yeah, he said his name.
The person that eavesdropped on me, I intentionally let them eavesdrop on me, and then I believe they directly called Malaya, and within a half an hour, Malaya.
Now go head up. It's a criming shame, because that's where this interview came from.
Had panicked and grabbed the baby, grabbed Meadow, and took off from Cindy's place, which is her mother's place in Wentworth.
Right.
And that.
If I said somebody else's name, I'm sorry. It was Zaxxon I was referring to. I don't know who I said, but I had Zaxxon in my heart. Did lose his mother. I apologize if I said a different name, but Zaxxon knew I was talking to him. Even if I said somebody else's name, I don't know what happened. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Zaxxon. I love you, hon. All right, so Derwood.
That's where she's been staying under 24-hour supervision by CPS, but anyway, she fought with her mother. Her mother tried to keep her there physically and couldn't keep her there. And Malaya headed, what I was told by the other family members who called me back right away, and that she had grabbed the baby and ran and headed for the reserve in Shubenacadie. Why she would head for the reserve, I don't know. And I don't know for sure if that's where the chief of the Micmac Reserve, it's his brother that's her lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
So this is my point. If the woman wanted to go to her lawyer because of the way that this was going down, somebody made a play. So I don't know if Derwood did it. I don't know if the stepdad did it, or if they're in cahoots with a bunch of people or what. But if the mother felt like unlawful activity was happening or she was being followed, right? Which it sounds like they were keeping their eye on her. She went to her lawyer. Yeah, she probably should have had someone with her. Absolutely. Her guardian at the baby's guardian. I agree 1000%. But at the same time, it's not like she took up running for the hills, right? This whole thing about this whole family members that took action for her, she would have had to put the kids in the car. She would have went out there unless she was sleeping. Is that being implied? No. Daniel is Darrin will say, O'Grady here is stating that he believes that she was at the side of the road. Well, wouldn't you go by the side of the road to look for the kids when the kids are missing? Because she couldn't have already been waiting at the side of the road if Daniel is stating that she's getting in bed, woke him up, and that they got up together and went outside together. How is she standing at the side of the road? You feel me? Again, his story doesn't work. Now, if Daniel has somehow lied to us again, and for somebody who doesn't like to lie and who doesn't lie and always tells the truth, 3 strikes you're out, mister. You've already lied and said that wasn't the pink blanket of Lily's. The mother said it was, and then now you say it was. See, I said the mother would know. The minute my husband said that wasn't my kid's blanket, I'd be gone if my kids were missing. I'm just saying, that would have been enough for me to be like, you're a liar. Why are you lying? That be the baby blanket of my daughter. Okay? So now the other thing is, like I said, him stating that they were in bed together. Remember the first scenario, right? They were in bed dozing off. They had been sleeping for maybe 20 minutes when they didn't hear the kids playing. They got up together. They walked outside. He said he took off immediately and drove in a car, searched the culverts, the ditches, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't find these kids. Came back. Malaya said, should I call 911? Right? Now, whole new scenario. Now he's in bed. He's already dozed off, not fully out, but he's out for about 20 minutes or no, he's just sleeping. When she, at some point, again, no time, climbs in bed and that wakes him up and he doesn't hear the kids playing. So then they get up together and they begin to look for the kids. But he doesn't jump in his car and search every ditch, culvert, river. No. Now it's completely different. The first thing he did is he ran out to their forts in the woods to see if they were there, what took a whole 30 seconds. See? But he doesn't lie, right? He only tells the truth, right? So if he is the one that is, I know him when he's stepdad, knowing this O'Grady's so good, good old boys here hanging out, and they've conjured up some plan to try to trick Malaya in some way, or even if he's just O'Grady's getting played like a fiddle by Daniel, which is what I suspect. But do I think Malaya's innocent? No, both parents are suspicious. Neither have been cleared by the RCMP. And I'm looking at Malaya going, why have you not advocated for your children, not even on the 3rd day of the missing? That's beyond my belief. And to leave the area where the children went missing from. That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, let's listen to Viv for a minute here. And hello to all my beautiful members. Viv, my hope from the start was that this was all part of an escape plan for her and the kids. But the longer that goes by, we still don't hear they're safe and back together. The more I fear it's not. Why? Okay. I know it's not easy to escape, as they call it. But on the day that the kids went missing, you're surrounded by the RCMP and all kinds of authorities, FBI, you name it. If you were trying to just get away right there, you could have walked right in and been like, listen, Lucy, this man has held us hostage. The children are up the road safe, but you were our only way of, this is how we had to get out of here. Right? That isn't what happened. No. So O'Grady and Daniel want us to believe that the mother has basically assisted in getting the kids removed, right? And getting them in a car, moving. But yet she wants us to look for the kids as if though they were abducted. See, that don't work for me. So yes, I want Lilly and Jack alive. I do. I want to know that they're found safe. But I'm not going to buy into some sort of scam, if you will, in my opinion, where Daniel has lied now 3 times. And now he's coming out with this whole his sweaters are missing, and he wouldn't be surprised if they were planted. Well, let's get into what Daniel's saying a little while ago. So this is alleged, and it's from a crime and shame. And Daniel says, I told investigators to polygraph her family, and they are. And then the grandma says, have you mentioned this to police? And he says, I work with detectives. The blue is grandma, the gray is Daniel. Okay, sorry, she says. Daniel says, that's why this can't get out, which obviously it's too late. If it does, then I lose my in with investigators. The grandma says, what about Hayden? Now, let's stop there for a minute. Hayden's the name. Hayden's the name I heard that O'Grady dropped. I don't know who Hayden is, but I'm just saying that's the name I heard dropped. So it's weird that the grandma is saying, what about Hayden? He says, I'm not sure on that. One, I'd watch out. See what I'm saying? There's some inside information. And then grandma says he used to be close to Malaya. Then he switches gears completely, and stepdad says, why no media standing up for Jack and Lilly? Even the natives pulled back and don't want involvement. And grandma goes on to say, I have an interview. And he says, CBC, right? She says, yes. And he says, yeah, I just did one on set interview. That was over an hour long with the cameraman, producers, and interviews. It comes out Tuesday, CBC National. She says hers is on Wednesday. He goes on to say, I think that, let's see if we get the rest of it. Let me change this real quick to not show anything. I guess we missed the rest of that. But he goes on to say Malaya didn't want to be anywhere near Cody. Cody is the biological dad of the children. He states she was afraid to even drive anywhere close. Don't worry, I have a guy on the inside now. I think that's O'Grady. I think that's Daniel's guy on the inside now. The one that Daniel's been pumping info into that I don't necessarily believe. I pray I'm wrong. But I don't trust Daniel and I don't trust Malaya, so it makes it hard for me to trust any of this. I can't say more than that, but evidence is mounting. The only problem is it's going to be hard for someone to give up the kid's location. The amount of jail time for this will be unheard of. Don't say anything to anybody about this. And grandma says, I won't, but that does make sense because Cody didn't live here. It doesn't make sense because Cody didn't live here. He was in Truro. He only moved back 10 months ago. And then Daniel says she was afraid that she would be there and he would show up. I'm being honest. Yeah, I bet you are. You always tell the truth. Right, Daniel? You're always truthful. Except when you're not. So Grandma says during that time he even lived in Cape Breton. And then it says, yes, something is something. And then it says, Malia's. I think we finally know that her and her family are a little crazy, maybe more than a little. I'm not so sure the family's as crazy as he makes them out to be honest. I feel like this is a lot of gaslighting. I really do. And if this is how Daniel plays, maybe she did take the kids and leave. I don't know. I just don't see the benefit when they were her kids to start with. He could have just walked away. Grandma says he had no interest in her or the kids, sadly. Daniel says, I know, but Malia's whole life has been nothing but negative. She found me, then she was happy. But Cindy didn't like seeing her daughter happy. Now look at this mess. Lilly and, let me see if I can get it. Lilly and Jack are innocent and they never deserved this. And then says, breaks my heart. The last time, says Grandma, she was here with the kids, she told us that you weren't happy about it. So we told her to bring you along if that would help. Daniel says, do you think Malia was a trustworthy person? See, right there. Boom, boom, boom. That's the kind of thing I'm saying. He probably wasn't happy that she was around her ex. He probably didn't like that at all because he's a goofy looking little toothpick and she's a pretty looking girl. So I doubt he's so secure. I honestly believe that he had a lot of insecurities and controlled her. A lot of the times, these type of relationships with such deep insecurity as I feel Daniel has, where, I'm just going to say it, they become very controlling and all of a sudden no family members are allowed around you. You just wake up one day and you're like, wow, pretty much all the family on everybody's sides other than his immediate family who are constantly on his side have been removed from my life and I don't know what to do. So if that was a scenario that Daniel was controlling and Malia was submissive, which he could be, it would make me wonder. Just saying. This whole, do you think Malia was a trustworthy person? At this point, I would not trust a word out of her mouth. Yet he'll tell you he loves her and that, yeah. You see her fighting for Jack and Lilly? See the sarcasm? See the spite coming out right here? That's the whole point of this message, is to get this grandma on his side, in my opinion. Her family has been saying effed up shit to CPS. That's why I can't see. I think he says the kids. Is it effed up shit? Or is there something more to it? We're unaware of all the evidence, but we definitely heard rumors about BLOODY undies. I heard rumors about the pink blanket being actually Lily's. That came true. I heard rumors about the water bottle being found. That came true. I heard rumors that it was Lily's play backpack and not her school backpack. That came true. And the other rumors I've heard so far, I haven't been able to validate. But one of the rumors is that BLOODY undies were found near that pink blanket, that partial blanket, which now we know was near a boot print. Now, what's interesting is we're being told the dogs did not hit on the scent of the blanket or the boot print or anything. So then, is Daniel right? Is this stuff being planted? Now, Daniel's alleging that Malia's whole family, their family, was the ones that found the items. Do we have, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation we could do. We could go on all day. But the question I would have is about these undies. Have they been sent in? I would pray for testing for DNA to find out if they really are belonging to Lilly, because Jack was in a pull-up. Now, when Daniel's behaving this way, it really, when he says things like, do you think Malaya was a trustworthy person? He doesn't add a question mark. He's not asking her, do you think Malaya's trustworthy? He's basically barking it back. Then he puts out how he feels he wouldn't trust a word out of her mouth. See, he's saying, and I get this whole not seeing her fight for Lilly and Jack. He's got valid points here too. Malaya and her family have done so much wrong, not to Jack and Lilly, but to everyone. Grandma says they are giving you supervised visits, though now she never always spoke the truth, but I really thought she was a good mom. I don't know when it changed. He says, I raised Jack and Lilly. I potty trained them. I played outside with them. I taught the kids how to zipper their coats. I did it all. She played on her phone all day. She doesn't know how to raise kids. The kids used to hit and bite her and scratch her. She had no control over them. Grandma says, well, that part sounds about right. I can see the kids acting out on her. I know a lot about moms who let their kids get away with too much. He says, no. She had zero control over them. I raised Lilly and Jack. They just see her as the girl that makes food for them. So mom's cooking, doing all the cooking for the kids, and tending to the baby. Daniel's not working. I'm not understanding the problem here. If she doesn't go outside with the kids, if she's got the baby and the bugs are like crap and the weather's hot or it's cold and rainy, so what? She stays indoors with the baby. She's also cooking for the kids. He admitted she's feeding the kids. I'm not saying she's being perfect, but I'm also saying he's admitting that she cares if they're fed or not. And she's also obviously taking care of the baby because he's not mentioning anything about changing Meadow or bathing Meadow or rocking Meadow or keeping Meadow safe in what Grandma described as a very unsorted home. So that the baby is going to be a main focus when the other kids can entertain themselves. They have school. And yeah, it might appear that they go on the back burner a little bit. And that's not always right. But it could happen a little bit. But you have that other parent that's co-piloting with you, right? So, I mean, he sounds like he wants a medal for doing a job that you would do anyway, because they're your kids. You're not the babysitter. I don't know. Let me know how you feel. I know I'm going to get some hate over this, but like I said, I'm not excusing Malaya at all. I'm saying, I'm looking at them both going, yeah. One of you folks is lying. And because Malaya has not advocated for the children, she is on my sussy list. Big time. Because Daniel has continued to change his story and even suggested that things could be planted around and all that. He's on my sussy list. And together, they're at the top of my sussy list because they were together when this happened. And it's like they know what happened, but they're going to play some damn games and whip this and whip that and all that. But they don't want to come out and just say, here's what we think really happened. No, the kids are just taken. Why would she suggest and be fighting for an Amber Alert if she aligned and coordinated something where the kids got removed from the home and all the cars are going to be watched now and all this? It just doesn't work for me. And O'Grady, to me, I'll be honest, he there's something smelly about the whole thing. Either he's gullible and he's buying into Daniel's story or whatever. Let's continue. So he says, they just see her as the girl that makes food for them. I know this sounds bad, but I'm being honest. Again, reference to his honesty, right? I don't lie. Yeah, you do, Daniel. It hurts when I tell truth. See, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. That's when you know somebody is absolutely lying, is when they make it a habit of saying it hurts when I tell the truth. Because it doesn't hurt to tell the truth. Not always. To consistently refer to myself as honest. You ever heard them people? He's acting like one of those people that are like, blah, 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 blah. And they talk like I just did for 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden they're like, to be honest, as if everything that is said before that wasn't. Bullshit meter is off the chart with Daniel. I'm telling you now. And O'Grady follows right behind him because I believe it's a pony and a cart thing going on there. I think that cart being pulled by Daniel with Grady up in the seat, just like the clown that doesn't know what's going on, getting played. I don't know. It seems so weird. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. So do you guys want to hear O'Grady talk for a few minutes? All right.
And the only thing I can think of in that, and not so, what I don't know, I'll say I don't know. What I know, I know. Now, I don't know exactly why she ran for the reserve, but the only connection I can think of is that her lawyer's there. Maybe she thinks she can get some kind of,
help?
I don't know, legal protection or whatever, because I think she realized that the jig is up. And I think.
You realize, because you think that she thinks the gig is up. What if she was going to file a restraining order because she found out that you folks are like stalking her? And that's how you know her every move. What if she went to get a restraining order? Because she's like, these people are nuts. My kids are missing. And now they're hiding in the bushes watching with binoculars. You have no idea why she went there to throw it out that all of a sudden, like Daniel did, that she's running from the RCMP and wanted by them and running in fear when you've had no contact with the woman. You're drawing conclusions and you're projecting them onto all of us. And I'm just not going to fall for it. To me, you're gaslighting the entire situation. And that is not what's supposed to be happening with Lilly and Jack case. We're supposed to be trying to find the children, not gaslight everybody with a little bit of hearsay and some theory mixed together like spackling and chucked at the wall and making it stick when it's logically doesn't make sense. Why would the mother be begging for an Amber Alert if she's the one that set up this whole abduction theory? Good God. And yet everybody and their brothers out there with this whole, like it's confirmed. I said, is the mother really on the run? I asked the other day. I said, or is she going to see her lawyer? Claire, I wonder if accusations of family taking 2 sweaters will turn up. Good point, Claire. I want to mention something. It's a rainy, damn cold day when Lilly and Jack Sullivan went missing. Rainy and cold. And the mother said, I hope they're not cold. I hope they're warm today. Now, these 2 little kids left the house in boots, but not their coats. On a rainy, cold day, they didn't put on their coats, but they closed that slider, but they didn't put on coats. However, 2 of Daniel's sweaters are missing. Not hoodies, sweaters. Something warm that the children could wear. That's awful quinky dink, right? And I don't know who took them. Maybe they were put on the kids by Daniel's family. Or maybe they were put on the kids by Malaya's family. Or maybe they were put on the kids by whoever closed the slider door. So it's kind of frustrating, but Rach says, ladies and gents, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe, tap the notification, and never miss a Momenti upload or a live again. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to skip the O'Grady thing because it's on every channel. Like I said, he's saying that the mother did this with a bunch of her age group of the Native friends and family that just did it on their own, right, to save Malay and the children. And they got in over their head, and then he name dropped, and Malaya overreacted and grabbed the baby without supervision, breaking CPS protocol, and ran to her lawyer. Now he's claiming that CPS took the baby Meadow from the mother for doing that, breaking protocol. And then now Logan's claiming she's trying to get custody of the baby. But sounds to me like they're a drama-filled family. Like they thrive off drama. And that means someone likes to stir the shite pot. There's always somebody with that big, shitty wooden spoon, right, that wants to stir up the drama. I'm guessing Logan's one. I'm guessing Grady's one. And I'm guessing Daniel, too. I could be wrong. But I will tell you this. I pray for Lilly and Jack Sullivan to be found. I truly, truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys, and I appreciate your spending your time with me. Hit that like button. Smash it with love. Please, if you have a Starlight membership, if you were gifted or if you purchased, join us for our Sunday fun day. It's a lot of fun over on Starlights. It's just getting better and better every time we come together, and the channel, the member section is growing. I love you so much, and I will see you again very, very soon. Thank you for everything. And with that, let's play our outro, and I'll see you soon.